Episode 9 is set to introduce many different twists and turns as well as surprises in this movie by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, we do know that J.J. Abrams is currently working very hard during post-production of this movie, which is when they add in all of the different special effects, color correction, ADR, you name it, all the different pieces of music that will be made by John Williams will also be inserted during post-production. So this movie really is coming together as they go through the spring, summer, and fall before the release of Episode 9 come this December of 2019. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting, involving characters of Kenobi and Rey, and a certain revelation about the Jedi and the Sith that will make a huge reflection on, of course, the prequel trilogy era. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is a description of Rey on a desert world within the third act of the film that is said to be the world of Tatooine, where it's described that Rey begins to hear a voice that is said to be of the Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's described that Kenobi is revealing a certain truth about the Jedi and the Sith to Rey after her travels to the Lost City and learning about the ancient Sith and Jedi ways. It's said that Kenobi reveals to Rey during their time on Tatooine about how the Jedi were originally responsible during the ancient times of causing the divide between the Jedi and Sith, that both sides used to never have any conflict. It was said that the power from the beyond is what split the two sides apart and created the conflict that Rey knows about in the stories that she has heard. It's said that Kenobi kept this a secret to himself for decades after learning about it during his time on Tatooine. So what's really interesting about all of this is that, we do know that J.J. Abrams is going to be introducing a lot of these different revelations, twists, and turns that's really going to have saga-wide implications and will really change our view on, of course, the prequels specifically. So they kind of did this already in The Last Jedi through, of course, Luke Skywalker's philosophy and how he thinks about the Jedi, what he thinks about them all. And we're getting a similar situation here with Obi-Wan Kenobi, where for a good portion of his life, he actually knew about what happened during the ancient times between both, of course, the Jedi and the Sith. And this most certainly changes fans' views of exactly how we view the Jedi and the Sith in, of course, the prequel trilogy era. Now, when you think about it like this, what's really interesting about the Beyond is that it does indeed hold a specific power that actually caused the divide between both the Jedi and the Sith that Kenobi actually knew about, where he reveals it to Rey through in the form of a Force Ghost voice, where Rey is actually hearing him pretty much, making this revelation on the planet of Tatooine in Episode 9. So that's the thing here. We do know that this movie is going to offer a lot of these different reveals that's going to change our view on the Skywalker saga. Now, is this a good or a bad thing to do? Is this a good or a bad direction for the final film of the Skywalker saga? I'm not quite sure. It's all a matter of how it's written and how it's going to be executed on the big screen, and exactly how far Disney and Lucasfilm are really willing to go. So, in my point of view, Obi-Wan Kenobi actually knowing the truth about what actually happened between both the Jedi and the Sith, and how the Jedi themselves were directly responsible for the divide between both the Jedi and the Sith during the ancient times, had all to do with the power of the Beyond. Now, like I said, we do know that the Beyond is connected to the new threat that will be a part of Star Wars Episode 9, and that is one thing to truly look forward to seeing in this movie. So with that being said, we do know that J.J. Abrams really is going to be digging into a lot of the expanded universe for this film in order to use that as an inspirational piece, in order to really, pretty much transfer some Legends content into Star Wars Episode 9 to satisfy a lot of the hardcore fans. So, to me, I'm not quite sure if this is a great idea, pretty much telling us, the fans, that the Jedi were responsible for the great divide between both the Sith and, of course, themselves. And this is all over the power of the Beyond. Now, we're still not quite sure exactly what the Beyond really is. We do know that a lot of characters out there know about it, such as the Knights of Ren, Kylo Ren, even Luke Skywalker himself, as well as Kenobi. And that's the thing here. The Beyond really is going to play a major role in this film in the background, within the second and third acts of the film, and it is going to also be used as a way to force the interactions between both Kylo Ren and Rey. That's basically going to ultimately bring them together to face this greater evil or this greater threat, whatever it really is. So, whatever have you guys, I gotta say, I'm really loving what they're actually putting together here in this movie. They're really trying to dig into the lore and really unveil a lot of revelations, new truths, and, you know, all these different things that will actually change our view on the prequel trilogy era and, of course, on the originals. Now, to me, this honestly is, you know, something that could very well be risky by Disney and Lucasfilm, I will say that. It's all a matter of, like I say, how it's going to be executed on the big screen, and how much detail they're willing to give away of what really caused the divide, specifically between the Jedi and the Sith. So far, Obi-Wan Kenobi is actually said to reveal to Rey that it was all because of the power of the Beyond, and that this divide was initiated by the Jedi themselves. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.